Hey guys, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. All right, welcome back to the program. Earlier on, I did talk about our conversation for today, so let's really jump right in. I'll be speaking about the informal economy report that was launched just a few days ago. My first guest is the DG of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. Just let's shorten it to SMIDAN. He is Charles Odi. Good morning, DG. Mr. Odi, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Can I see DG, please? DG, welcome again now, virtually the second time. All right, welcome. I also have the Managing Director of Microfinance, the Managing Director of Money Point Microfinance Bank, because there's a Money Point INC, isn't it? So there's a microfinance component of your business. So Money Point MFB, Microfinance Bank, is Mr. Babatunde Olofi. Mr. Olofi, good to have you on the program. Welcome. Your maiden edition on this show, so welcome.
Yeah, morning, Nancy. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I think we should just delve right in, and I will start with the DG of Smedan. Mr. Odi, why did Smedan partner with Money Point Microfinance Bank to launch this informal economy report? I am situating this question around, I know that Smedan over the years have partnered with NBS, for instance, to come up with reports on small businesses. In fact, it was one of the reports from MBS with Smedan that we got to know that now we have nano businesses. That's businesses that employ like one person. So why did you partner with Money Point MFB at this point? And what is the difference with partnering with Money Point MFB? Because you partnered with MBS at the time. MBS is also government. Now you're partnering with private sector. What is the difference? So two questions in one. Shoot.
Thank you so much, Nancy, again for having me. So I think that we at the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria are very open to collaboration. Government to government collaborations, government to private sector collaborations, government to international development organization collaborations. And we want to make sure that we can get everything that we can to help develop the MSME ecosystem. From our last survey with the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, we got to see that we have approximately 39 million small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, cut across 30 states and the FCT. And MoneyPoint, as a private organization, has become a financial institution that has gone into the nooks and crannies of all of Nigeria. You know, we can find MoneyPoint in 774 local governments in Nigeria. And so when MoneyPoint reached out to us to say that we are talking to approximately 2 million small businesses in Nigeria, we felt that it was a good start. If we have 40 million and MoneyPoint is talking to 2 million, just to try to get their spending habits, to understand the demography, to know how many of them are paying taxes, to know how many of them, what age bracket many of them fall into, to know um, what sectors are fast growing. We thought that it was good to shake hands with them to try to one validate the reports that we have from the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, but two to understand what we are doing. Because at SMIDAN, all the decisions that we're making right now are informed, are driven by data. So, for instance, the MSME strategy for the ecosystem is something themed GROW, GROW. Guidance is for G, R is for resources, financial and non-financial resources, O is for opportunities, and W is for workforce support. And that GROW, to a large extent, metamorphoses into 8 sectors that we're tracking real time. And if you look at that report, it also validates the data that we're using to drive the MSME ecosystem. So to a large extent, there are 8 sectors. One is the agricultural sector, which that Grow Nigeria now metamorphoses to Eat Nigeria. So we are focusing on all the value chain from the farm, first of all, helping our smallholder farmers with the savings that they need and the technology that they need to the dining table. So everything that happens from the farm to the storage, in the warehouses, to moving the products to the market, and eventually to the dining table of the consumers. We are very prevalent there, and we're playing a key role. And so we are now we're helping our smallholder farmers, and we're looking at that sector because it's one of the fast growing sectors. And if you look at the report, you can see that that agricultural food sector falls in the top 5 fast growing sectors in the report as well. We also have Where Nigeria, which has got to do with our fashion, retail, height and skin, leather, and in that as well falls into one of the things that we're trying to do. So in national concept, understand what is going on in the informal sector because we want to formalize many of these businesses, but also to validate some of the key key indices that we're tracking at the agency right now.
Okay. Okay, DJ, I'll come back to you a bit later. Even though that a few times you were a bit cracky, your network was a bit cracky. But let me come to the Managing Director of Money Points Microfinance Bank. Of course, the DG has enumerated why that partnership with you was necessary. But make us understand, make Nigerians that are watching now understand what the informal economy report is all about.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Um, we will all agree that Nigeria's informal economy plays a crucial role in the nation's economic landscape today. And there's never been a formal way of putting something together that shows the impact of this informal sector, right, in the whole ecosystem. This is very vital to employment, very vital to income generation for the nation. It's also a form of safety net in the face of this, challenging economy that we have all over the world. The employment opportunity it provides is very significant to a lot of people in Nigeria today, especially those who don't have access to formal employment. This also serves as a primary source of income to so many households, contributing to poverty alleviations and financial inclusion. Operators of informal businesses, especially in Nigeria, also, they exhibit a kind of high level of flexibility and innovation in adapting to, to the changing business conditions in Nigeria today. And of course, you also agree with me that this informal sector contributes substantially to Nigeria GDP. We used to call some of this informal sector side hustle, right? And where you have people that just graduate from school and because of lack of employment, formal employment, you see some of them buying bikes, going into logistic businesses, and they do a lot of businesses on Instagram selling one thing or the other. Now, the essence of this report, right, is for us to bring stakeholders together. I mean, stakeholders from government, from regulators, fintech, private sectors, and even the media, for us to all advocate for the development of informal sector in the country, and also to influence, the decisions that we make in this country around, this kind of informal businesses that we have. Just like the DG said, we have about 38 million businesses. For me, I say every adult in Nigeria, right, is a business entrepreneur. So if you count the number of adults in Nigeria, then you can say these are the number of informal businesses we have in Nigeria. Maybe 39 million businesses have been formalized that we know. But to be honest, we have, for every adult you can count, does one side hustle or the other. And that gives us, the informal number of businesses or small businesses or nano businesses we have in Nigeria. So basically, the essence of this report is to ensure that we all come together and are continuing to advocate for the development of this sector. Thank you.
Yeah, I like that you brought in the side hustle part of it. So perhaps it's now time for us to take much more seriously side hustles, because everybody gets side hustle as it is, And I saw in the report also that many Nigerians even own more than one small business. Now that brings me. Let me still stick with you, MD of Money Point Microfinance Bank. Let's talk a little bit about the key insights from this report. And some of the things that I saw, let me just enumerate them so that you can expand. That the average monthly income of an informal business is less than 250,000 naira. Then another key thing for me also, but not key because we all know those things too, is that unemployment is the most common reason for starting an informal business. Then 70% of the informal business owners borrow money for their businesses. Would you like to expand on some of the key insights from this report?
Yeah, let me start with the unemployment side of things. It's a known thing in the country. We know, I mean, things are hard. People are unemployed, right? Former environments are not longer employing people. We are having exits of lots of manufacturing companies from Nigeria today because how hard it is to do business. So the question is, what is left for the graduates that we are producing? What is left for people that have lost their job, right? The fastest thing anybody can do after losing your job or you have not been employed for a while is to start something, is to start a small business somewhere. And believe me, for example, if you go on Instagram today, you can see the number of Nigerians selling one thing or the other, which we call the side hustle. So unemployment is a major factor that pushes people to become an entrepreneur, right, in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the sizes of these businesses are so small, like you said. I mean, a lot of them are 250,000. But by the time these businesses start growing, they need to expand their businesses. And you see them relatives, invest in those businesses or borrow money to expand these businesses. But what Money Points have done is that, we found a way of bringing all our businesses in, right? Include them in the financial sector, identify them, classify them, segment them, and look at the kind of business they're on, the size of their business, and we're able to afford them loans, right? And today, I mean, we can tell you that we bank over 2 to 3 million businesses today. And we can tell you that majority of them, we have also financed them in what we call business loan to support and improve and expand their businesses.
So with that point, let me come back to the DG of SMEDAN. If Money Point Microfinance Bank, and I will say this is a bank that is just a bit relatively new. I know how you guys started, not sounding advert. MDA Money Points, you have to pay me at some point for this, for advert on this show. But I needed to just talk about this in terms of this is one company that is serving, the informal economy, and that is why he also came up with this report in conjunction with your agency. With what he just said now, what role do you think that nano and MSMEs can play in Nigeria's economic development? If you think that they are playing a positive role, what are the different intervention measures that this administration is putting down? Perhaps even from SMEDAN. I even want to hear from you, SMEDAN, because you're also relatively new at that agency. I've spoken over the years with all the DGs of SMEDAN. I have historical knowledge of that agency. So speak to me about what SMEDAN is doing now to help MSMEs. You know why I'm also asking that question? Because over the years, we've been told that, oh, you guys are not just technical assistance, so SMEDAN is giving technical assistance. Because when people talk about SMEDAN, they also think that you guys give funds. I know that you partner with some companies to bring like Sterling Bank and all of that, so don't give me that. I understand. But I'm saying that what concrete interventions are coming out from the government through SMEDAN to help this category of businesses? MD just spoke about 2 million businesses earlier on.
Thank you so much. So firstly, I'd like to appreciate His Excellency President Tinubu for actually becoming the MSME president of the world, because the first thing he has done is he has earmarked approximately 50 billion naira for the MSME ecosystem. And that money is being churned into the ecosystem in forms of grants. Now, this is not a loan. Money Point has been loaning to our small businesses and businesses in the informal sector. But His Excellency the President thought it fit that it would be nice to inject some fresh capital into that sector. And so 50 billion naira was earmarked in terms of grant, and this money is going to approximately 1 million nano and micro businesses across the 36 states and the FCT. Now, this money is not money that they get to pay back, but it's money that they can use for three purposes. One, for their working capital. Two, they can use to procure workspaces. And three, they can use for equipment that they require. In addition to that, what Smedan has done is Smedan has added another 10 billion naira single-digit interest loan to that financing. So 50 billion naira in terms of grants, 10 billion naira.
DG, I think we are losing you there, and this is such an important point. 50 billion naira in terms of grants, additional 10 billion naira. DG, can you hear me? Because your network is really a bit unfriendly. DG, can you hear me? So land on that point again.
So I said, firstly, in terms of access to finance.
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you. Okay, DG, are you there? Can you hear me?
Babitino, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now. Okay. So go ahead. You were talking about 50 billion naira from the federal government in terms of grant. Then you came up with a 10 billion naira, additional 10 billion naira.
Yes. So I've said that 50 billion naira in terms of grants has been injected into that MSME ecosystem. But there's another 10 billion naira in terms of loans, where small businesses can access at a single-digit interest rate at a zero collateral for work tools, to buy work tools, for workplace procurement, and also to add to their working capital. I'd also said that in addition to that, what Sweden is doing is we're moving away from one-to-one, where we meet a small business owner, train them, and try to empower them, but we're moving from one to many, where we want to reach as many people as possible, because our last data showed that we have 39 million small businesses. And that means that we're leveraging technology, and we're also working with cooperatives. So I'll give you another instance, right? We have a product called One Local Government One Product, where we go through the 774 local governments in Nigeria, trying to identify one product that we can harness for local consumption and also for export. And so what Sweden does is, after we identify these cooperatives, we fund the cooperatives. And we fund them to as much as 5 million naira. In other cases, more, where 70% of the funding we give them is a loan, and 30% of that funding is also a grant, so that small businesses can actually crystallize themselves in different clusters, and then we can fund them with a lot of information, a lot of financing, a lot of access to markets and access to mentors that they can leverage for business growth and business expansion. So in terms of financing, we're doing a lot of that. But more importantly, we train these small businesses. And if you look at the report that we released, it shows that we need to actually up the capacity development for our MSME ecosystem and feed them with a lot of information. So we act as a one-stop shop for any business across 36 states and the FCT who wants to start and scale. Smedan is the first point of call. And then when they access us, they get a lot of information as regards how they can unlock financing.
DG, how do they apply? Because the things we are talking now are sweet, as it were, but many Nigerians, I can tell you, do not know what you're talking about. So how do people apply? Is the application still ongoing, the 50 billion naira with additional 10 billion naira in terms of loan? How do small businesses apply? Because part of the challenge is access to finance. Or is the application portal done with?
This is the administration of President administration where the son of the noble comes from anybody. So the application process, and using that, we are leveraging technology. So if the small business goes to www.smedan.gov.ng, all the programs that I'm speaking to you about are there, and they can start the application process almost immediately. And in less than 48 hours, they can actually know where they stand. Many people apply for financing. So people apply for as much as 2.5 million, whereas it's basically maybe somewhere around a million or less than that. When you do the process, to know where it is that you are and what kind of financing that we can make available to you. For some people, it's loans. For other people, the grants, especially our small businesses in the rural areas. And also for other people, we're working on some patient capital that will come to these small businesses in shortest possible time.
Okay. Now let me come back to MD. Mr. Lofi, would you equate? Is Mr. Lofi there?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Being informal, because when I read your report, I was also a bit, this question came to my mind, which is being informal, does it equate to small? I hope you understand my question. You know why I'm asking that question? Because at a time in this country, about 4, 5, 6 years ago, we had what we call the Finance Act. The federal government at that time, with its knowledge, put together some interventions or rebates for small businesses and said, if you don't make up to 25 million naira in turnover, don't pay CIT. I hope you understand, don't pay taxes, as it were. So from this, your report, would you equate being informal to being small? You know why? Because there are many informal businesses, because informal is like government is not present there, they do not pay taxes as it were, regulation, they are not really like documented. But you have a lot of informal businesses too that make millions of naira. So did this your report bring out that? I hope you understand my question.
Yes. So somehow it is directly connected. So today, if your business is big, right, there is no way you won't be financially included because people will want to pay you and you will want to do collections on your business. So one way or the other, you will have bank account. And for you to open a bank account, at least with the traditional banks, then you have to be well documented. Your business has to be registered with CAC before you can have a proper bank account, right? So somehow it is directly connected in such a way that if your business is small, you are likely to be informal, right? Because you may not be doing those large form of collections like that, a bigger organization or a bigger entity doing today, right? So most of the times, 99% of undocumented businesses are actually small. You wouldn't want to do 2 million, 3 million, 5 million naira business with an undocumented or an organization or an entity that does not have the entity in the name of the business, for example, right? If I tell you that I sell headlight ticket or I sell sofas, right, and I ask you to send me 10 million naira, and you are saying just my name, you are not saying the company's name, and if anything goes wrong, you cannot hold me responsible. You cannot charge me to a court of law, right? So definitely you wouldn't do those volume of business with me. So the kind of businesses that we call small businesses, side hustles, are businesses, right? Definitely, most times they will not be documented. They are basically informal businesses. It's just like the kind of businesses you do, like you want to go and buy a little small part of your car at Ladipo Market, or the old woman selling food to school children going to school in the morning. Now, those are the kind of informal businesses we are talking about.
Okay. Which area? Let's decompress this report a bit further. What industries do we find these nano and MSMEs? That's one. Then where exactly are they located? We have 36 states and FCT. Where exactly are they located? Do we have a higher concentration in some certain areas? Then the third question is around the demography. Can you give me the demographic component of this, which I saw, which was also quite interesting to me? If you answer the question, I'll come back to you with a follow-up in terms of the demography.
Okay, I mean, demographic locations. First off, I'll tell you they are everywhere. Right behind your office, there you will find somebody doing something by the roadside.
Yeah.
Right behind DG, they are just everywhere, right? And you cannot basically clip them to a particular location because they form, in fact, they service our basic life everywhere, our basic lifestyle everywhere, right? And if you want to tame them to a particular location, it will be a bit difficult because, for example, um, you have where you have market women selling pepper, selling rice all over the countries. I mean, everybody eats, we all eat, right? And we all buy things, right? So, but again, there are some places where you have loads of concentration of these people. You have most of them up north. I mean, lot of them up north, right? And it is also directly proportional that where you have lower education level, you will find a lot of them in those areas.
Mm. Okay, how about the industries where these nano and MSMEs are concentrated? Do we have specific
In,
areas where it's even easier to start businesses, as it were? You know.
in terms of industries, um, it's difficult to also classify them because as we see them, we try to classify them.
MD, are you still there? Okay. It's the network is frozen. DG, if you can hear me, let me come to you with this question in terms of what can the government begin to do, or how can the government encourage formalization? Do you still need to formalize? And I know I'm asking this because there are some small businesses that will prefer to still stay small. I've seen
Yeah.
small business owners. Mr. Luffy, Mr. Luffy, if you can hear me, um, the network connection got frozen. Okay, DG, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, you know what? Let's quickly take a break and reconnect. Let's take a break and reconnect. Okay, DG, are you there? Can you hear me, DG?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what will it take for us to encourage formalization? Some small businesses don't want to formalize. Some even tell me I don't even want to get bigger because I don't want government's problem. When I get bigger now, they will be coming to my store every day. Even as small as I am, I still pay a lot of taxes and levies. So what will it take to formalize? Should we even formalize them at all?
Yeah, so interestingly, in business school, we looked at a survey very similar to this that was conducted in 2018 in Brazil, and the reason why some of the small businesses then didn't want to formalize was because of government regulation, one, but two, because they want to make as much money and keep as much money as they can from the trade and businesses that they run. But in Nigeria, I think that to a large extent, we've tried to democratize and remove all the bottlenecks that any small business will be confronted with. If you look at the report, it shows that approximately 88.7% of these businesses actually pay some form of tax.
Mm-hmm.
So taxing is not really the issue for them because they understand that they have to pay taxes. Some of them already pay taxes. And so what we want to do and what it would take for us to formalize many of these businesses is just a lot of sensitization and awareness, right? Because there's a lot of incentives that they can get by being formalized. And being formalized in Nigeria basically is just registration. The first point of call is CAC, right? And in other cases, it's just basically business member organizations that they belong to. So formalizing them, getting them to be formalized is just getting them to be aware of all the benefits. So for instance, I've spoken to you about a lot of grants, a lot of loans that we give these small businesses, and many of them will not be able to take advantage of those kind of incentives if they are not formalized, because we need to know them. Somebody can exist in a society, right? If the person doesn't have BVN, doesn't have NIN, doesn't have a driver's license, doesn't have a passport, the person is not known, right? The person is just roaming around. But if the person has access, if the person has BVN and the person has NIN, the person can do a lot of transaction, and that will also help the person in terms of the society where they exist. So we need to continue as Smedan to preach the gospel about getting access to a lot of the incentives that government has, because we as Smedan are democratizing this access. Access to finance, which I've spoken to you about. We have loans, we have grants that small businesses can take advantage of. Access to markets. We have a discounted fee from NIPOS as a small business owner. If you are formalized, you can get a discount in distributing your products across Nigeria. access to trainings, access to capacity development, all of these things you can take advantage of. But we cannot give you these things if we do not know you. So being formalized is just you being registered and we getting to know you. And then we can help to, first of all, advocate for you. His Excellency the Vice President has launched 1st of December 2023 at the with an issue in a state, the first point of call is Smedan office. And if we can resolve that at that level, we'll take it to the commissioner in that state. And if it does not resolve at that level, it goes to the governor. At the different state level, the different governors are the chairpersons of the different councils in their state. And if we can't resolve this at that state, then it comes to the National Council, which is chaired by His Excellency the Vice President. And all of these issues and all of these complaints are things that we're tracking head on. And we're trying to, first of all, eradicate for our small businesses. But we cannot be able to solve those problems if we don't know the small businesses. And so what Money Point is doing is to identify these small businesses. What we've done with MPS is try to know these small businesses. And what we want to continue to do is the KYC activity where we know all our small businesses, identify the problems, identify where they are in terms of geographical locations, identify the problems that confronted you, and begin to solve these problems head on.
Okay, let me come back to Mr. Olofin. Part of the report also dwelt on financial habits of businesses in the informal economy. I'd like you to speak about that, Mr. Olofin, as to what kind of payments do these categories of businesses take. Perhaps was there also most popular digital payments? Then the other question which I wanted to ask you earlier in terms of demography, but you didn't answer. I don't know if it's because of the network. I wanted to know the ratio of female-owned SMEs and male-owned SMEs. I saw in the report that female-owned MSMEs are lesser than men. And that was why I also asked you earlier, what industries? Because I saw trade, food and drinks, beauty, fashion, and all of that. I also know, for example, in the agricultural space, we have a lot of old women, more women even in the rural areas in agriculture. That was why I asked. So that data a bit was, but go ahead, if you now understand what I mean.
Let me quickly talk about the statistics. Our report shows, which we validated properly, 37.1% of the small businesses are women, right? Of course, I know it is arguable in terms of the fact that
because I felt it would be more than that.
Somebody set up a business and employ a sales boy or a sales girl to manage the business, right? That happens a lot, right? But this report was done and validated properly for us to have this kind of statistics. So, and it has nothing to do with the industry. Of these businesses, right? You have women doing logistic businesses where they buy the bags and give it to men to ride for them, right? So at the end of the day, we could have counted that as a male business that, okay, the guy riding the bike is the owner of the bike, right? But sometimes it could be a woman behind it financing it, right? But from our survey and everything, that was how we came up with these statistics and these numbers that we have here. Now, in terms of the payment, the payment mode of these small businesses, before now, you find out that these small businesses do their business by doing basically transfer, right? You go to a pepper market, either you use cash or a biz hire business will take transfer, right? But unfortunately, in the early 2023, December 2022 and early 2023, there came the cash crunch or cashless policy where, we didn't have enough cash in circulation, right? And the whole payment landscape changed from there, where people needed to collect and the people that needs to pay could not pay. People that needs to be paid were not being able to pay because there wasn't cash, right? And MoneyPoint stepped into the industry then and started giving POS terminals to allow these small businesses to do collections, right? Traditional banks wouldn't have given terminals to any business that does less than 20K, or in fact, something that does less than 8 million naira, right? But MoneyPoint came into the space and we gave POS terminals to these micro businesses for their business to survive and for them to continue to do their collections. So I can tell you today that digital payment is now a big form of collections, even within the small and informal businesses in Nigeria today.
Okay, so are you saying that we're seeing less dependence on cash because Nigeria is still a bit largely cash driven? because MD, just hold on, because just hold on. If you go to a marketplace, I do that a lot. In fact, I try to encourage digital payment. Sometimes when I go to the market and I want to pay, I'll tell the business person, "Where's your POS? I want." You say, "Madam, I no get." I say, "Why you no get POS?" He said, "No, make I call POS agent for you." So they will call the person. The person, I will pay the money into the person's account. The person will bring a cash and give to the person, to the trader. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So we're still, yeah. So we're still a bit cash driven, as it were.
I totally agree with you. There are still a lot of improvements to be done. The market is still so wide. Like I said, if we have documented 39 million businesses in Nigeria, like I said, I will say that every adult in Nigeria have a side hustle. So they are a business entrepreneur, right? So in that case, we know that we still have a long way to go in the payment. But the most important thing is that today you see a organizer that can accept transfer as mode of payment. So the habit is being formed. The education level is growing and is becoming better by the day.
Okay, I get you. Yes, because I know we're not here to 6, 7 years ago down the line. Even 10 years ago, I was part of the advocate of cashless banking, cashless society, and all of that. And I'm also glad that I'm alive and I'm seeing that transition, you know. So, but we are hoping for more. DG, just as we close, what are the other things that um, will the businesses get? I hope you understand what I'm saying, DG, in terms of how do we now encourage.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now, DG?
The network is gone again.
DG, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, DG? Mr. Luffy, can you hear me? Wow. Okay, should we just take a few seconds to try to reconnect and then we'll come back? Let's quickly take a few seconds, then we'll come back. All right, welcome back. DG Smithan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, in just a few seconds, what more things should we expect from the federal government, perhaps through your agency, to help MSMEs?
You're breaking again, Nancy.
Can you hear me now? DG, can you hear me now? Okay, Mr. Luffy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Luffy, let me come back to you because DG is not hearing me. I don't know what is happening with this network this morning. So as we close, what do we expect to see? Perhaps what is the outlook in the next 5 to 10 years for nano and MSMEs? That's nano, micro, and small businesses, actually. We're not even talking of medium as we were now.
I would say we start seeing nano businesses that are completely financially included in the financial space, where a business that has a turnover of less than 20,000 naira, all right, can do payment and receive payment and can grow the same business with the support of banks like MoneyPoint and education level that Smedian is pushing out there.
Okay.
Good business to multi-million naira businesses in a very short time.
Okay.
Small and medium businesses need support. They need a lot of education. They need government policies that balances innovation and how they are being served, right? And how they are financially included into the
Okay.
ecosystem.
Okay, Mr. Luffy, I will stop you there. DG, can you hear me now? Because I need 30 seconds from you to end the show. DG, can you hear me? DG, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Wow. Okay. DG, you can't hear me, so I think we will need to end the show at this point. Let's anchor at this point. But
I can hear you now.
okay, finally, just give us again how people can apply, because I know that's what people will be interested in, small businesses, just very quickly.
Yeah, so small businesses, two ways. The first one is to leverage technology, going to our website, www.smedian.gov.ng. And the second one is to form themselves into cooperatives.
Okay. 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 Okay, seems the network is the network is so unfriendly this morning. But this is the point we will anchor. I want to say many thanks to you both for joining me this morning to talk about the informal economy report. I've been speaking with the DG of Smedian, Mr. Charles Odi, and the Managing Director of MoneyPoint Microfinance Bank, Mr. Babatunde Olofi. I promise our viewers will try as much as possible to do this again some way, perhaps get them physically here, because this network is now, not our friend. But like I always say, be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. And that side hustle way they do, just know that your side hustle counts, at least from this interview. Everybody in a hustler, so we are all in a hustler economy. I'll see you all again tomorrow. I am Nancy Naji. Bye now. Thank you for watching. In case this is your first time watching us, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop your comments as well as like, and most of all, share our content.